King Arthur explains, the Battle of Nicopolis, the crusade that ended all crusades. They thought it would be glorious. They thought it would be holy. They thought the Ottomans would tremble at the sight of Christian banners marching under a blazing sun. But what they got was a flaming disaster of egos, arrogance, and very bad decisions. Ah, greetings, noble traveler. I am Arthur. Yes, that Arthur. And today I shall regale you with a tale of one of the most spectacular military failures in medieval Europe, the Battle of Nicopolis, 1396. Or as I like to call it, how to lose a crusade in one easy step. Before we go any further, if this mix of medieval chaos and royal storytelling amuses you, give it a like, subscribe to the Realms Chronicles, and leave a comment below. Who do you think made the worst decision in this mess? Trust me, there are many contenders. Now back to the carnage. The year is 1396. Europe is panicking. The Ottoman Empire, led by Sultan Bayezid I, nicknamed the Thunderbolt, because subtlety was not his style, is expanding aggressively into the Balkans. Christian kingdoms feel threatened. The Pope declares a crusade. Again. Because that's worked so well every other time. Enter the so-called heroes of our story, a patchwork quilt of European nobles and knights, including the French, Hungarians, Burgundians, Wallachians, and more. Leading them is King Sigismund of Hungary, a man with a plan, though I'm not convinced anyone else listened to it. Now, let me be clear. If you're reimagining a highly disciplined coalition of elite warriors working in perfect harmony, think again. This crusading force was more like a drunken wedding party where everyone brought swords. There was no unified command. Every nobleman fancied himself a warlord. And of course, the French insisted on leading the charge. Because why learn from past crusades when you can repeat their exact mistakes with more flair? As they approached Nicopolis, a fortified city held by the Ottomans on the Danube River, the Europeans encountered a small Turkish force. The French knights, eager to prove their valor, charged ahead without waiting for the rest of the army or even a coherent strategy. Sigismund pleaded with them to be cautious, to wait for the infantry, to scout the terrain. But the French laughed, called him a coward, and rode off into what can only be described as the most predictable trap in crusading history. They smashed through the first Ottoman line with great pomp and bloody fury, hurrah, except that was exactly what Bayezid wanted. His main force, hidden in the hills, closed in and absolutely annihilated the disorganized knights, and then, like an onion of doom, more Ottoman forces kept appearing. Cavalry, archers, janissaries, you name it. Soon the Crusaders found themselves surrounded, exhausted, and painfully outnumbered. Sigismund tried to retreat by riverboat, barely escaping with his life. Most others weren't so lucky. Thousands of knights were slaughtered. Those who surrendered were brought before Bayezid. Now here's the bit that chills even me, an undead king from myth. The Sultan reportedly had hundreds of prisoners executed over several days to send a message. His army needed rest, so the executions were spaced out, because beheading that many people is apparently time-consuming. Charming, right? And thus ended the last major crusade of the Middle Ages. Europe was humiliated. The myth of Christian military supremacy was shattered. Nicopolis marked the end of an era, one where crusades were seen not as spiritual missions, but political disasters cloaked in holy banners. The lesson here? Ego and arrogance are deadlier than any sword. The French nobility charged into a battle they didn't understand against an enemy they underestimated with allies they ignored, and they paid the ultimate price. So, dear viewer, if you've enjoyed this tale of medieval madness, and I do hope you have, consider bestowing a royal favor upon this humble channel. Like this video to support future chronicles, subscribe so you never miss another disaster explained by yours truly, and drop your thoughts below. Could the Crusaders have won if they'd have just listened to each other? Until next time, may your battles be better planned than Nicopolis, and your allies less French. Farewell.